Well, hello everybody and welcome to Adobe Live. We are back again today for day 2 and we are here with the amazing, the fantastic, the always exciting to be around and watch him do his creative work, Mr. Kevin Lee. Kevin, say what's up to the people.
Wow, thank you. Hello everyone. That was an incredible introduction. What?
An incredible introduction.
That like boosted my confidence, like an extra 5 points. Thank you.
We had some technical difficulties at the end of our stream yesterday. We were a little bit glitched out, but thank you guys I saw a lot of people stuck around and tried to like see if it was going to happen, but it just wasn't happening. That's okay, but we're back today. And Kevin has been, if you weren't with us yesterday, designing a Penpal kind of like connection web application so you could find pen pals. He's been doing it inside of Adobe XD. That's the focus of the day. But before we go too far, we have had a really exciting day of streams. And so this morning at about 8:30 Pacific Standard Time, we had October illustration with Shauna Lynn. Right after that was character design with Kimberly from Inku Design. Kathleen just got done with the Pre-Max Challenge. She made this really great avatar so you could update your profile, make it look all saucy. That was a really good one from Kathleen. We're here now with web design with Kevin Lee. And then right after, don't go away because there's always more content on Adobe Live, but right after that, we're gonna be doing Design in the Dark with Wade and Andrew. It's gonna be just a full lineup. Speaking of full lineups, let's talk about Adobe Max real quick. Kevin, how stoked are you for Max?
I am so stoked. It's just an event full of like creative knowledge and, you know, meeting people. So like, I'm just like signing up for everything that I can. What about yourself?
I had like 5 or 6 things on my schedule. And after our stream yesterday, I went in and signed up for like 5 more. So I'm like really on board now, really pumped. And I've heard a little birdie said that XD might be releasing some new features, possibly some surprises for us to look at Max. So really excited about that. Hey, Kevin, do us a little 30-second Wikipedia recap of who you are, and then move on and tell us a little bit about what you were doing yesterday and what we're going to be doing today.
Yeah, awesome. So hi everyone. If you weren't here yesterday, just a quick recap. My name's Kevin and I'm a UX UI designer and film photographer. I am based in Los Angeles and I currently work at Walt Disney Company as an interaction designer. My other hobbies include film photography, so you can check out my Instagram with all my photos that I do. And yeah, if you like it, make sure to follow. The project that we're doing is a Penpal website, and basically it's, you know, during these crazy times, you know, we miss that human physical like interaction with each other, and then just speaking to one another in person. But since, you know, the pandemic, there are other alternatives than just texting or, you know, emailing someone. You like having just a physical letter is so much more meaningful and wholesome. I don't know. I think like we spoke about like the last time you received a letter from your mother, Jesse. So yep. It's just a whole nother like level of just meaning, just holding a letter. So yeah, that's what we're creating, just to find like someone around the globe that has similar interest as you, so you can write to them.
Yeah, and we found out yesterday that hopefully there's some people out there who want to be my pen pal who like Lady Gaga and Poke. So that's because we're filling out my profile, my pen pal profile.
Exactly. So yeah, yesterday we basically created the homepage and then the registration page. So we'll continue on working on that, as well as like the people search page, as well as the profile page. If we have time, we can also do like a resource store section and prototype as we go. So
very cool.
Yeah. Nice. So let's get to it, I guess. So from yesterday, I like realized it was really purple, right? Like my design. So
Mhm.
I'm like, you know what? I need to add some accents. So I added um, this pink that I grabbed from the skin of this illustrated illustration color, and I just
Nice.
applied it to like these little dot accents, made these swivels um, that I like unconsciously like didn't think about, like it's like just like the letter, like the post letter swivel or whatever. And then from there I added some more like swivels to the registration page and that flow of like so yeah, that's what we did yesterday. What we're going to be working on today is this people search page. So I made a quick low fidelity wireframe, adding some of the assets and design elements from the other pages that we already created. That's going to be you know a consistent thing. So like this top nav bar as well as the footer, and these pink swivels as well. Um, so I did some like drawings over here, and it's very quick sketches of how I want the people search page to be like. You can see that I have the profile, image, the name of the person, the common interests, and the percentage matches, like how well that was, as well as like the search bar and filter option. Um, so from here, I just did quick gray boxes of like the structure and layout. Um, and yeah, so from here, I guess we can just get started on like how we want to add colors and like design elements, make it more fun, because right now it's just she a little plain and we want to spice it up a little bit.
Right.
So yeah, we will start making these components. So like for the borders, instead of like having a gray background, we could just make it white, make it super clean. I noticed that like this search icon is like too close to like the center, so like move it up to the right a little bit. I have this filter option where someone can filter out by like what common interest that they want, and a different layout option, like this grid option. So instead of a card full of like lists, it could be maybe squares of like different profiles, just a different view for the user to view the what is it, the people search profiles.
That's smart.
Yeah. So okay, I guess like since we got the whole structure and layout, all we have to do is just like start filling in and adding colors. So like I'm just gonna put random names. We had Serenity in the homepage, but like I don't know, I'm like John. I have no idea. Like I'm just putting random
John
names of
Doe.
people,
Yeah.
or like maybe we can put people in the chat.
Yeah.
Like
I
their
mean, we got a
names
bunch
on
of
there.
people in the chat. Like, speaking of that, we have our Everiana is in the chat. Lindsay's in the chat. Samuel. Got a lot of people. Let us know where you're coming from, because maybe then Kevin can not only put your name, but your location, which he has like right underneath each one of the names. So tell us where you're coming from, and maybe even add one of your favorite little emojis or something in the chat.
That would be great. That way we can like actually make these profiles of them, of like how they look. And as I'm waiting for that, I guess I can add color and everything. But
Totally.
so for this view profile button, I think it's good to have in the back of your head of like what color you want hyperlinks to be, or just links in general.
Mhm.
So for this, I might just make this color like this pink from that, the skin tone of
Very
that
nice.
color.
Yeah.
And then the background a pink as well. And as you can see, I used the repeat grid, so it just applied
Beautiful.
everything like that same color to like all these other components.
We got some names and some locations if you want to throw them in now.
Yes. Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
cool. Well, we got, let me see. Misty is
Okay.
from Los Angeles.
Okay, nice. Same.
And then we have Taylor is
Okay.
also from Los Angeles. Got a lot of people from Los Angeles.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We have Sayuri, Sayuri, from New York.
Ooh, big cities right now.
Yeah. And then I like this one. So Averiana, so Avery. A-N-N-A, is
Wait,
from
Aver.
Y.
Why?
A-N-N-A is from
Uh-huh.
Saginaw, Michigan. Let's mix it up a little bit and throw Saginaw in there.
Um, is that how you spell it? I
Close
don't see the.
enough, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wait,
pretty
what's the
close.
abbreviation for Michigan? Is it MI?
M-I. M-I,
Okay,
M-I, I
okay.
think.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And then we need one more.
Okay, let's do Laura, L-O-R-A, is from Copenhagen.
That's my sister's name, but she's not
There
from
you go.
Copenhagen. Oh my god, this is like a spelling bee.
Yeah, I would be
I'm
doing
just
way
gonna put
worse than you. You're doing fantastic.
and my geography is not that good, so I don't know where Copenhagen is, but okay.
So you were saying you did a repeat grid. That way you can make changes one place and it changes everywhere.
Yes. So like if I wanted to change this background color for this, percent match, it'll apply like everywhere in that repeat grid. So,
So easy.
you could
So
just save
amazing.
so much time. Yeah, it's just so simple. So with this, actually, I might make this text black. And then we'll have like random percentages. So Misty, you'll be a great fit for Jesse as a pen pal. So like you're 95% match, which is great.
Yay.
Taylor, we'll put like a random number, 80%. Still a good match, but
Close. Yeah.
Close. Yeah.
She's more of like a Britney Spears fan and not as much of a Gaga
Not a Lady
fan.
Gaga. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we stand both, but the thing is, there's just a hierarchy of like who you prefer.
Absolutely. It goes the Queen Bee, then Gaga, and then Britney.
Yes, in your perspective.
in my perspective.
Yeah. And then Laura, I'm sorry, but you're just a 45% because
Sorry,
it's
Laura.
okay. Everyone has different interests, and that's totally fine.
But it's cool. I think a cool thing to point out is that you have this repeat grid, and if you change things in that first element, it's changing everywhere. Like you just drop that little poke tag in there. But if you can override like the text in each of the following elements inside the repeat grid without messing up the main interface element, which is really, really cool.
Exactly. And that's what is so like simple and easy about it. It's just like it saves me so much time. And from yesterday's stream, that like we got no time. Yeah. So yeah.
Time is
because we don't make our own icons. Yeah. Which I totally wish I did, but so let me see. Going back to that registration, what were some things that we put? We put Lady Gaga, of course, Peanut Butter Falcon for the movie.
Yeah, it's good. Vincent Smith says the hierarchy is very real. So I think he's commenting on all your typography hierarchy that it feels it. I agree. It's really come together. Like your people search title, and then your like the name of each individual, and then you have like kind of those locations or even smaller. So there's a really great hierarchy that you're starting to set up, and people are taking note.
I'm glad everyone's noticing. Oh my gosh. Because for me, like in the beginning phases of just like starting my career, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make anything, any size, as long as it looks good to me. But like just having that consistency really helps a lot. Okay. So we'll just add a bunch of chips. I mean, we don't need to be specific, but I feel like everyone gets the point of like, okay, this is where all the common interests are.
Totally. Yeah.
So cool. And then for the images, going back to my favorite plugin UI faces, Unsplash, you get to choose a source that you want to find your images for the person. Right. Select the photos. So let's see. Just gonna choose like a wall diverse group of people,
which is cool because UI Faces, like the plugin, it brings in all of these sources, but it doesn't force them in. You get to choose which ones you like. So I like that second step in the process.
Yes.
And it's telling you on the left-hand side, which I love, 5 out of 6 selected, which is telling you, hey, this repeat grid you're about to put things into, there's 6 of them. So
yeah. And then like that little progress bar is just like, okay, that really helps.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So I'm going to apply this and then it just fills it up. which is like super easy, super
Yeah.
simple. Cool. And then I guess I want to add like maybe like what are they searching for, and
Right.
you know, so let me put some text here. 16, and then
And if you're
regular.
just joining us, we are live with Kevin Lee, who's an interactive designer at Disney, and he's designing a Penpal web application to make matches for people around the world and get back to that old school style of writing letters. And we're on day 2, and he's like really just kind of sorting out now some of the more fine point details. It's really coming together. So if you have any questions for Kevin or have any questions for me about web design, about interface design, about XD, let us know in the chat. And which also, real quick, if you're watching this on YouTube, come over to Behance and watch it so that you can actually chat with us live.
Yeah, because a lot of people watch it on YouTube as well.
Yeah, but they don't get to talk to Kevin Lee. They don't get to ask him
I
questions live and
know.
direct then.
That's the whole point, right? No, I'm just kidding. Okay. And then another thing that I changed as well. So you can notice on this navigation bar, on the home page, we just have the logo and the login button. But as soon as someone makes an account, that's when they're in, right? They're inside the portal. And that's when they could finally use the service. So like people search, you can see it's in its active state because the underline and it's bolded. And then we have like the different navigation items like store and resources, the messages, a notification that shows how many messages they have. Oh, I don't have a picture of you, Jesse. We'll just use someone really quick.
That's okay. You can make me anybody you want.
I'll just choose the first photo. Okay, cool. So this is Jesse, everyone. And then I put a notification bell as well as like a little indicator that you have notifications. And then yeah, so pretty much we got everything settled for this. I might want to add, I guess, like some sparkles, like having that same design elements from the homepage. Maybe we'll grab some of these dots as well.
Yep.
And apply it.
Yeah, Voodoo Val says Kevin is too powerful. He cannot be contained, which I am in full agreement with.
Oh my gosh. Voodoo Val is so funny. Every time I see her in chat, like we created that like Kevin face of like the eyes. Or well, like we grabbed it from somewhere, but it's just her thing in chat now. Okay, so let me see what I can do with this.
And also, folks, if you're new to XD and you're wondering what Kevin's doing and how did he get so amazing at using XD, a good place to start would be always joining us in our XD Daily Creative Challenges that we have on Behance. And that's 9 challenges you do over a span of 2 weeks for half an hour each. Get to follow along with an amazing creative and just learn a ton and be pushed to kind of learn and really dive into your creative juices and learn how to do it in XD. It's a great thing to do. So make sure you definitely check out the Daily Creative Challenges. I love the little embellishments. I love the little accent pieces, like visually, and it's not like you don't want to overdo it, but it seems like the more you just add a few of them here and there, it just brings the whole brand tone together. It brings the whole interface and makes it really feel like one.
Right? It's like from the artist spotlight yesterday, like it was so beautifully well done, and it was just like a brand like component consistency, like element consistency of like the circle that he applied to.
Yeah, that's really true. We
really
were
nice.
you and me were like fanboying all over those circles. Like,
I know.
We had technical difficulties at the end of our stream, so it was a little glitchy, but we were looking at Daniel's work and he had like these amazing illustrations and animations, but it got to these simple little organic circle accents. And you and I were just kind of like, whoa, why didn't I think of that?
I know. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I need to go back and like look at more of his work because it's just pure talent.
Yeah,
Pure talent
absolutely.
right there.
Rebecca is asking a question, or not a question, but just saying she's new. She's been thinking about trying this program and wants to get into UI and UX design. Any other, as you're kind of designing, any other kind of recommendations on things she could learn, or maybe she should focus on, or anybody that's getting into UI or UX design? Kevin, any thoughts?
Um, Practice just sketching and just grabbing all your ideas first. I feel like everyone gets so excited about design and like, this new program, but I feel like just learning the fundamentals of design first and just doing sketches really helps you in the long run. For me, like when I was in school, I would always like make everything pretty first, and that's not the case, especially if you want to make this into a career. Um, you just have to like do a lot of research, look at other websites, do competitive analysis of like what's working. For example, if like you want to create a personal project for social media, see, how Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or Snapchat's doing, their interface as well, and then
Mhm.
yeah, just go from there.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's good. I would add, Rebecca, sketching is huge, and what Kevin's saying is right. It's so much more about learning, how to express your creativity and using some of those design fundamentals like line and shape and color and form and repetition. And then that way, when you open up Adobe XD, you have all of this ammunition in your head, all this creative ammunition, and now you're using the tool to bring that vision to life. There's nothing worse than trying to battle a tool and you don't have a lot of the vision solidified in your head. So I love that idea of sketching and getting back to basics before you worry about the program as much. But once you do get some of those basics down, XD is a great place to start. Let's see, Samuel's asking, how does this hold up when taking into account browser specifics? So I think maybe that Samuel's question is kind of about different browser types, different browser or device sizes. We were talking a little bit yesterday about mobile design, but what's your experience, or when we're looking at the interface you're working on right now, do you have a vision for how it would drop down to different device sizes?
Um, yeah, like for me, like I feel like tablet and desktop are pretty similar, but for mobile, like for this, I'm using a card system, and I feel like for mobile, like cards work well as well. So it's just a very like condensed version of a desktop. So I'll probably like change the width of the cards to fit a reasonable width for the mobile device. But yeah, it's always in the back of my head whenever I design.
Right, that's great. Yeah, I think, and we were talking a little bit about this yesterday too, but it sometimes not reinventing the wheel. And you were saying research just a minute ago. What are common design patterns and UI design patterns and web design patterns that you see over and over and over? The reason that's the case, the reason cards are so successful is because we've seen them a million times, and users, for the most part, know what to do with it. They know how to take it in and digest the information well. So sometimes relying on those tried and true patterns is the best thing you could do.
Exactly. What are some common things you noticed in mobile?
Definitely switching over from, like a multi-column layout to single column. So going to a one column layout, it definitely is a thing. You have to worry about kind of what we call like the big thumbs issue, which is like making sure things are tappable and like easily accessible through tapping on mobile devices. So that's another one. And I think really clear indicators of what you're supposed to do here, because on mobile, a lot of things are swipeable, some things are tappable, and so you want to make sure that if somebody's supposed to swipe, they know they're supposed to swipe. If this is a button, make it look like a button. So I think it's really fun to experiment and do some of these award-winning conceptual things, but at the end of the day, it's like, how usable is this for people? So that tends to be my opinion on mobile stuff.
That's so true. Especially with like just the swipe indication, like just letting the user know like the learned behavior that they have with mobile,
Right.
and just like learning what that is really beneficial as a designer.
And then also like contextual learned behavior, right? Like somebody launches your mobile app and you tend to have like swipe gestures for a lot of things. It's like,
Mhm.
carrying that pattern throughout and using it. So it's like they learned it once. It's like riding a bicycle. The next time they go to a new screen or a different area of your application or your website, it's like it's the same pattern. So, we're not throwing the whole kitchen sink at them. We're using a select few and we're creating a style and a tone, even in our interactions and animations and things like that people understand really quickly. Um, let's see, Samuel Santos is kind of saying a similar thing, which is the best UI is the one that you never notice.
That's true.
Sounds like a
But
Steve Jobs quote. It's so good.
but like as UI UX designers or like product designers, we notice everything. We're just like, oh my gosh. Like for me, when I even log into like any website, I'm just like, this could have been a better experience, or
Yeah.
like, oh, this was such an amazing experience. But um, yeah, that's so true though.
Yeah, absolutely. So Sayuri was just kind of asked this question, saying she's from New York and she's new here, but wondering if there's a plugin that she can export HTML and CSS. Have you played it all, Kevin, with the Anima plugin for XD?
No, what is that?
Ooh, you got to play with it. You got to try it. So download. This is great for anybody that wants to design websites. And we were talking a little bit yesterday, doesn't really want to code it themselves. You can download the
Okay.
Anima plugin inside of XD, and you can create your artboard, like for instance, like the screen that Kevin's working on right now. And then you could have the tablet and the mobile versions like right next to it on their own artboards, export the whole thing in Anima, and it just creates it all in code for you, and it recognizes those break sizes, and as the browser shrinks, it's just going to kick over to your new design, and it's all really valid HTML. It's done really, really well. So check out, if you're interested in that,
Whoa,
Sayuri, check out the Anima plugin for XD.
that's so cool.
Super cool. The people over at Anima are just, they're rocking it, and they're like, let's make this even 100 times more easy and more of a reason to use XD.
I'm all for like anything easy. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
Robert
Okay,
Wennerberg
so
brings up another good point about type size being important on mobile. You do have to shift type sizes a little bit, you think?
yes, absolutely. Especially because like 16, my 16 is my go-to for like the smallest size for desktop. For mobile, oh my god, like maybe 12, but that's like really pushing it.
Right.
um, but what about you? Like, do you have like a rule for like font sizes for like mobile versus desktop or?
I don't have a hard and fast rule. I have a bracket of sizes that I know generally tend to work. So like I usually try to always stay using like a typographic scale. So when I drop down to mobile, if my body copy went from 16 to 12, then that means all the headlines and subheadlines are going to shrink just a little bit to kind of follow suit with the typographic scale.
Wait, weren't you the one that taught me that algorithm or like that equation? Um,
Yeah, I mean, you could do like the golden ratio. You could do math
yeah,
right
the
inside of
golden
XD,
ratio.
right? So you could just like go
Yeah.
in the inspector like panel on the right hand side, and you can take a piece of like typography, and you can say time like asterisk like times 2 or whatever, and it'll just jump the text up for you. And then yeah, then all you got to do is add a little bit of weight, like change the weight size to the font, and you get like this rad contrast as you're building your scale out.
Yes.
Laura asked about Anima app. Is it JavaScript as well, or just HTML and CSS? I don't think it's JavaScript, but you can add videos, GIFs, Lottie files, and even embed live forms into your websites if you use Anima, which is really, really cool.
So yeah, so right now, I know we've been talking about a lot about designs, but currently I am making the profile page for like, you're like, oh my gosh, like Misty, we love Pokey and other stuff, and like
Yeah.
it's the highest match. So like you click on view profile, so you click on that, and that's where it takes you to their profile page. Um, Having a banner section showcasing their style of like pen paling,
Yeah.
their aesthetic, super cool. And then just carrying over the information like their name and location. You can add them as a friend or you can message them.
Cool.
But the thing is, since this is a Penpal app, we are trying to get away from like chats or, you know, messaging digitally
Right.
or
Otherwise,
like
what's the point?
texting. Yeah, like what's the point? So we're trying to make it difficult in a way for people to, you know, get away from that idea of like digital messaging. So we'll have like a token or coin system saying like, okay, you get 20 coins or 20 tokens, and if you get them daily just to get that, you know, initial conversation going,
Right.
but then after that you have to pay to get more tokens or more coins. So that benefits us as a company at Better Letter. um, if, you know, people want to use this as a digital messaging system, then we'll get paid. But the whole concept of this website is quickly grabbing like an initial conversation and then being pen pals and writing physical letters. So
Cool.
I think having that token structure like kind of gets away from that digital messaging concept. Even though people still have to like, I don't want like a random person to like sending me letters.
People are getting like a master class at home right now, because not only are they getting like web design and UI design, they're getting like business strategies and revenue streams and stuff from Kevin Lee right now. This is amazing.
Yeah, so that we're gonna make some dough from this, and then we're also gonna have a cool website for pen paling. Awesome. So I guess going back to these like low fidelity sketches, I wrote down like what I want, what content I want to be in the profile. So I have, again, banner, profile pic, their username. I guess we'll just put like Misty Writes as their username. Location, their friends. So like, again, using that repeat grid. So let me actually, this was 24, I believe. Yeah, 24. So just writing, you know, a header for each one, my friends. And again, another cool thing is you could make these into like assets as well, like for typography scale, like character styles. So if I wanted to save this, I could just add it, and it's Matterhorn 24 point. I should have done that for like all my text things. Like this one is 16 regular at that. That way, like later on when you do create a style guide or like components library, everything's just here, which I love. I think that's it. I use 24, 16, 64, and 36. Perfect. Okay.
Kevin, you're really good at like your numbers and keeping that structure throughout. I think that, to me, like I think a lot of people would ask the question, they're not asking in the chat, but I hear a lot of people like on my YouTube channel or just when I talk to people in general, they ask about like sizes and all these kind of things. And that is, I think, the mark of, as you start to mature as a designer, one of the things you mature in, which I think you're demonstrating really well, is like putting constraints on yourself and having self-control. So you don't have like 75 typography sizes and weights and everything. It's like it makes the interface look really like much better, brings a lot of clarity for the user.
Yeah, and you know, it wasn't easy. Like again, like just going through experience, I feel like you're always taught like at work or like with client work, just like having that consistency. So later on, like it's just a thing that you just learn or inherit like through experience. So yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to put a circle for like their friends, and then just their name as well. So let me just click here. Oh, I should make a bold section as well for 16 and then add that. So just put random names.
Also, this like cool feature, you don't have to use it now, Kevin, but if anybody's ever doing something like Kevin was doing on the previous screens where he had this great repeat grid, not only can you use great plugins like UI Faces, but there's also the ability to, if for instance, on your computer, you just have a file full of images that you want to use and reuse. You could have dragged like all of the images in that folder into the avatar spot, and it would just like sort them into all the avatars. But you can also do text files, which is really cool. Like create your own little data
Yeah.
like sheets, as long as it's a plain text file, and just like line break each one of them with names. And then you can just drag that onto a piece of typography in Adobe XD in a repeat grid, drop it, and it'll populate all the names, which is really cool. So a lot of people don't know that little trick. It's really fun.
Exactly. And it's super beneficial. Like again, with like that image thing, like you can do it with text, and it's like, I didn't do that, but it's a good idea to do that.
Like sometimes you don't need, sometimes just random names and images are great, but every once in a while, like maybe you have a stakeholder meeting or you have to present something to your manager and you kind of want to tell a story, like with the interface. Well, then you can have like these 10 or 20 user personas kind of created and have their names and their images kind of all associated. That way, when you drag stuff in, it's like, oh, there's Allison, and we're tracking Allison's journey throughout like all these pages. It's a way you can kind of control the data that you use. That's just a fun thing. I see. So you got kind of like a friends list, so that when I'm vetting my pen pal, I can see.
Actually, this is the person that you matched with. So like you can see like, oh, who other, like maybe I can add these people because they're like mutual friends, or like they're friends with Misty, or
Gotcha.
yeah. And then going back to UI faces. Awesome.
Some Samuel in the chat was just talking about how he was hooking up a second monitor so he could watch while getting some work done. Do you work with like a second monitor? Do you work off a laptop? How do you usually work, Kevin?
You know, I have two monitors and my laptop, but lately I've just been, especially during the pandemic, I've had a lot of time on my hands. So I've been so interested in like streaming. So I'm going to start streaming on Behance as well, just like on my own, and just do a lot of like iPad illustrations or something like that, just like a different medium of like, instead of like UX UI, like I want to like explore different creative options. But yeah, I usually work with two monitors, and it's great to like more room, you know.
Sure. Yep.
For screen. Do you work with any monitors, or?
I have like a two monitor setup in my office, but a lot of times I prefer to work on one, because if I have two, I tend to try to multitask, and that's bad for me. So I like to have one monitor and just single task and try to really get in like a really good flow state and focus and concentrate. That's a new thing for me.
That's true. It might be like too excessive with like a bunch of like monitors everywhere. So that totally makes sense.
That, and I have like slight ADD. So like if I see something interesting, I'm like, ooh, look over there. And I just, I get distracted easily like squirrels.
No, same. So what I'm doing now is I'm grabbing, again, icons from Noun Library?
Noun Project? Yeah.
Noun Project. And then just, using it for my own benefit. But, the credentials, the credit is there. So
credit where credit's due. Thank you for your amazing sacrifice of icon design.
Yes.
Noun Project designers, we appreciate you. We salute you.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and then I guess like adding icons to, especially in profiles, just adds a little like design element to it. It changes the look of it. I feel like just text and like images of people won't really do the job. So actually I might use the same one for friends.
Kind of creating a little bit of a visual language too, so when people see certain pieces of like iconography, it's like it becomes identifiable like very quickly.
Exactly. So,
Kevin, explain really quickly for the people in the chat, like why the first time you tried resizing that, it tried smushing or like just rearranging everything versus the second way you did it, you were actually able to scale things.
oh, yeah. So this is just like
I
me
always
not
get mixed up
holding.
with that.
Yeah, like this is me just like clicking and dragging. But like if you hit, oh my gosh, what just happened? If you clicked on Shift on your keyboard, wait,
Mhm.
and then you drag it and you let go, then it just like keeps the same logo or icon.
Yeah. It keeps the proportions and then just rescales
Proportion.
things instead
That's
of
the
like
word.
just reshifting around all of the individual like vector elements inside the SVG. It took me a while to learn that one. I kept being like, what, why can't I do this?
Why isn't this working? Yeah, but it's good to learn your shortcuts or different
That's why I
text
like hanging out
keyboard
with other
shortcuts.
designers, like hanging out with you and doing streams like this, because you have certain hotkeys and workflows that just come natural to you, and it makes me convicted. I'm like, ooh, I need to know that. Why don't I know that? Like Kevin knows that.
But you know what's so crazy? Like, there's some things where I don't really need a hotkey because like for me, I'm so used to, and this is probably a bad habit, but like sending things back or forward, like I always just go to help and then just just type in back. And then I
Right.
just do that. Like I know there's this shortcut. I don't even know what these keyboards mean, these symbols mean. So I don't even deal with it. I just click on this. But yeah, that's just my preference for that specific thing.
Gotcha. Yeah. Everyone has only so much cognitive like storage space to remember hotkeys. It's like a million hotkeys.
I'm like, it works. So I'm like, I guess it's just a learned behavior for me, but yeah. Then we'll have an about me section. So maybe I'll like center this.
Look at Voodoo Val in the chat coming in clutch. She just put all of the like a link to all of the XD short like hotkeys and like keyboard shortcuts. Thank you,
Oh,
Val.
I thought she like actually sent like all of them in chat, like, but it's just a link, right?
It's just a link.
To,
but there are plenty in there.
Yeah, there's a lot. Okay, so I think this is kind of cool, just having a new element, because everything here is like 16 point, but this is 24.
Right.
For their about me, just a quick snippet of who they are. Let me make this 64. And then put it right here. Oh, there.
And again, if you're just joining us, coming in midstream, we are with the amazingly talented Kevin Lee, and he's designing a Penpal web application for us today inside of Adobe XD. I love the little the ad of like the accent color in the like the pull quotes there, like really cool, really slick.
Just making it a little fun. Yeah, so like profile is really simple, I feel like, for this. Just my friends, about me, and then common interests. Just grabbing everything that was in that people search page. I don't think there's much else that anyone needs to know. What was my common interest icon? Oh, so on the noun project, I just typed in common, and then it gave me like this icon, which I feel like,
cool.
okay, yeah, like it represents like something common.
Shared interest, commonality, connection. I like it.
Right? I'm like, this will work. So cool. There we go. Oh, I like that. That's nice.
I like that a lot.
And then again, I'll just copy and paste all these chips. You guys just love pokey.
That's just common interest is
It's
just
just
raw
pokey.
fish upon raw fish. That's all it is. Honestly, if it's good pokey, that's all that's needed.
Right? Oh my gosh, I said this before, but I used to eat pokey all the time. And I wasn't sick of it because it was just so good.
Can't get
And
sick
there's
of it.
so many different like choices of fish too. So
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, cool. So awesome. We have this page, the profile page, all ready to go. Let me take out this layout off the grid. And then we have our people search page. And then now let's work on the store/resource page.
Okay.
See, like it's, you guys, I'm telling you all that like it's so good to just have a quick structure layout of all these gray boxes and things just run smoothly as far as like how you want everything to be laid out. So like for buy message tokens, and you could just, now you could do like all the fun stuff, which is like adding all these icons and like how you want them to like look like. So I found this token or coin icon from Noun Project, and then I love that you can download them as SVGs, so you can just delete the things that you don't want. Like this plant has nothing to do with, you know, what we're looking for, since it's a messaging token. And you can also add things as well. So if I wanted to add like a $sign, you can add it to this. So let me, oops. Let me grab this color, just black.
And here we are back to it, like the customization of like things that you find places. It's huge. It like makes such a difference.
Yeah, and like again, this is how I'm just thankful for Noun Project. So thank you again.
Yeah, thank you, Noun Project. We love you.
Yes. Oh, so one thing I noticed is I actually want to keep these background, like gray backgrounds. So I might make it a little bit more faded like that. But then I noticed that this is a transparent background. So what I'll do is I'll add like a circle behind it.
Gotcha.
Again, using this. This is my shortcut. Oh my god, maybe I'll add some color, like offset color.
I like the offset color.
I'm telling you, it's the inspiration from yesterday's artist. Yeah.
Daniel Tan, he had it for us.
So let me group this. This is like, oh, like I just want 5 tokens.
All the things that you're doing right now is making me so happy.
5 tokens. How much should this be? You know what?
Chat, how much should it be for 5 tokens? Let Kevin Lee know.
Yeah, let me know. And then we'll just go from there. But yeah, like 5 tokens. We'll just put 20.
Let the chat dictate your business model right now. I think that's what we
need. Exactly. And then I could have used repeat grid, but since it's like really quick, just 4 options, I'll just copy and paste it. So this one we'll do 7. We don't want them to get a lot of tokens. Like this whole thing is for like physical letter.
Yeah.
So like 10, and then we'll do 20 here.
We have some severely diverse options for pricing. So for 5 tokens, some say 99 cents, some say 1 million, others say $5.
Oh, $5? Okay, I can. Token? Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, we'll do that. That's a good idea. Oh wait, $7. Should we do like reverse, like, because you know how like when you buy,
the more it should cost you, because you're supposed to be writing real letters.
Exactly. So $10. And then 10 tokens would be like 15. No, 20. We'll leave it at 20.
Yeah.
And then this just doubles in
Yeah,
price
40.
because it's like, what are you doing at this point? 20 tokens.
I love this reverse kind of method.
Like, who are you? Like, you can't sit with us because this is not the point of, this website. Okay, so I'm just going to copy and paste. Like, oh, there's more tokens.
Multiples, multipliers.
Oh, you know what? I'll do it like this. Boom.
Everybody in the chat's being really supportive of the price gouging, which makes
thank you.
Fantastic.
I'm so glad my business model is working right now. I appreciate the support. I love my fans. Thank you so much. Okay, cool. And then we'll just put this. Oops. Oh my God, we should have like a best deal, but then usually it's like the most, but then we'll do like, this is the best deal.
Or you could go like really opposite, put a tag on one that says worst deal.
Oh my God, yes. We'll do
worst savings, worst deal.
wait, I like that. I'm gonna put it on this one.
I like an honest business model too. It's like, this is really bad.
Right?
We just want to let you know. Let's flag it for you.
Like, don't get this. This is not the purpose.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Worst deal. I love this so much.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, worst deal.
This company of ours might go bankrupt, but we're gonna have fun doing it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the whole idea, is just having fun.
We'll go down as the snarkiest company of all time.
Exactly. Oh wait, I forgot one thing actually. Going back to the profile, I had a verified badge because
that's right.
The catfishes. We don't want fake people.
Yeah, we don't want the catfishes.
Okay, so let me, and then, oh, there's no background white. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna add a little white.
How many times do you recreate like the same assets over and over, or do you have your own place where you store common assets?
Like for the assets panel, or the assets,
or just in general as a designer. Like, I use a little app called Icon Library, and if I find like a verified check mark, I'll save it into my library so I can always go back to it, because it's just money for me. Do you have anything like that in your workflow?
You know what? That's a good thing to have, but for our work at Disney, like, we have everything set already.
Oh,
so it's true. Like anything that we need, it's just like, it's there. But like, it's totally different when I was a freelancer, where, I would have to pay for, an icon set, or like just get like free icons anywhere. And I think that's a good workflow if your company does not provide an icon library.
Yeah, totally. It's a good call.
Okay, so let's see. Oh, I love these little coins that I just like. I'm like, oh my God, this circle background is just like, thank you to yesterday's artist spotlight.
Yeah, amazing.
Okay, so now we have the stationary Penpal set. So going back to yesterday's stream, I mentioned like the Penpal with me YouTube videos, and like, just look at all this, like, beautiful, like Penpal to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just the amount of effort and love put into these letters is just insane, and I'm just shocked that how much
my mom loved me, but she loves me, but she didn't send me Penpal stuff like this.
It's like, oh my God, it's just a whole nother thing. So like, yeah, putting pictures instead of like using the UI faces, whatever, like the plugin, you can have pictures in a folder, and then just drag and drop. Oh wait, I don't know if this is a repeat grid. So actually, let me make this into a repeat grid and show you.
Yep. If you've never seen this, get ready for your mind to be blown. There it is. Your mind's blown. Bam.
Right there. And yeah, now people can, and if I want to change like the roundness, this should be like.
But what my favorite part about this is like you can still double click inside of any of the following instances in the grid, and you can reframe stuff and change the individual instance and kind of art direct without messing up your repeat grid. So I love that part or piece of functionality.
And then now, like, this is a perfect example right now. Like, I didn't do a repeat grid for these boxes, and it's taking me a while to like change every single like corner roundness compared to like I just did it like super quickly with the repeat grid. So I don't know why it's not letting me change the roundness.
You might have turned it into a path when you like were on it, so maybe it's not a shape now, it's a path.
Oh, okay. You know what? I'm gonna.
Yep. Look how much faster that was.
Yep. Okay, then we're good to go. And then let's see. I want to look at more of like the image here. We'll call this the Starbucks set because that's a Starbucks logo. I just noticed that.
Yeah, it is.
And you know what? We'll make these cheap because this is the whole point of the website.
There you go. See,
write a
people
letter.
Might feel like they're getting ripped off with tokens, but the blessing comes in the actual physical writing stuff.
Yes, exactly. This is like, oh my god, are those cats? So I'll just do like the cat set. They're all going to be 250.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's good.
The floral.
And I also love that you started by creating like this really simple, like modern, clean interface. And when that really starts paying off is when you add in different images, because now the image and all the colors and all the cool nuance of each individual image is the thing that stands out. And it's not fighting. It's not fighting against the interface design.
Nice. And then, so this is our store section. And then now we'll make a resource section. Actually, I'm going to make these two different headers so that the user doesn't get confused about like what is a store, what is a resource.
Gotcha.
So let me. Oops. And one thing I like about Adobe XD is like it detects the spacing, like 124, 124. And it's just so easy to just drag and drop these elements.
Consistent spacing. So smart guides. It's amazing. I mean, like before there was like smart guides and smart measurements, I used to, back in the day, I'd have to draw a series of rectangles and always keep those as my measurement elements and use those and
oh my gosh,
and create all of these blocks. So I was like, I know that the green one is this level of like spacing, and I would like reuse that to bring consistency. But now it's so much easier.
Wait, that's how it was back then?
That's how I did it back in the day. I would, and instead of creating tons of rulers and stuff and like dragging guides out on the artboard, like I used to do like web design in like Photoshop back in the day, right? But and that's what I had to have, like actually create elements to reuse. But now it's like you create a repeat grid and you're gonna get consistency in the spacing no matter what. And you move elements around, you're gonna get smart guides and measurements, which is like mind blowing.
Oh my gosh, that like that method of like the boxes just stresses me out because
it stressed me out.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot.
I have so much less stress now in my life because of XD.
I know. Yeah, XD does help a lot. Okay, so this is the resource inspiration section. So I'm gonna just have like a video embed system um, to showcase like the Penpal with me video. For gradients, this is like a linear gradient that I'm applying overlay. I don't want it to like make it super dark. So maybe I might dim this as well. We just want a very subtle gradient because I'm gonna put the title of this
Gotcha.
on top. Um, make this white. Watch Pen Pal with me with Valerie. Okay, I'm noticing that it's like kind of being hidden, so I'm gonna update the gradient.
Just kind of improving the contrast there and the legibility of the text.
I think that's fine.
Yeah. That's good.
And then changing the view all color to that pink that we had on the other page. Okay, awesome. And then maybe some like articles. So like I have this image and then this image being like how to, oops.
Remember, if you guys have any questions in the chat, just let us know. Ask any question you want to Kevin or myself, and we can answer those as Kevin's doing his amazing work.
How to find a consistent pen pal
There you go.
friend. And then a lot of people don't like using lorem ipsum, but it saves again a lot of time.
Yeah.
But it's always good to like have your own like custom text.
Sure. It's also a really good plugin if you ever want like some variations in your lorem ipsum. You can find the content generator plugin, and that'll give you stuff like paragraphs or sentences, as well as names, locations, times, currencies, all that kind of stuff. So that's a cool one too, if those of you out there are interested.
And you know what? Maybe we'll go into the noun project right now and then look for an article icon. Like, look at these. These are amazing.
Yeah.
I'll just get this one.
I like that one. That one's simple and nice.
And so since I have like an icon folder, I usually just drag and drop from the downloads, put it in here, just to make sure everything is in the same folder. And then here it is, drag it here. Because I feel like if you just drag it from your downloads to the sketch, like that's quick, but like you need to like have everything in a folder. Right. Especially like I know Adobe XD has share for development link, but like I think it's just for as a designer, like for your own sake, just to have everything just in case is good.
Yeah, absolutely. Alexi's asking about the difference between XD and some other design tools. I would say and I'd love to hear your thoughts, Kevin, but I think some of the benefits of using XD is it's not Photoshop light, if that's what you were thinking. It's definitely way more tailored towards web design, digital design, UI design, UX design. It just has certain functionality and key features that help the digital designer. Like some of the things that Kevin's doing, he's doing at lightning speed. One, because he's a boss, and number two, because XD is kind of a boss as well. So pairing those two powerhouses together is doing what you're seeing on the screen right now. But I think another one of the key features of using or benefits of using XD is that it's tied in to the rest of the Creative Suite. So if you have a library of assets. You can keep those all in like an Adobe CC library, and they are transferable between Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, Adobe XD. Everything plays nicely with each other, which is, it's understated how amazing that integration is.
Yeah, I agree. Adobe XD is also like the usability of using Adobe XD is really simple, and I picked it up super quickly. So I like how like they have just like everything designed, like it's so clear to me, right?
Yeah.
It's nothing like I'm like questioning myself, like, oh, what does this mean? Or like it just makes sense.
The XD team also does a really good job of listening to designers and users,
Mhm.
and um, putting out new releases and features that really, really matter. So, like, I saw online, somebody was going, "When is XD going to have a dark mode?" And Howard Pinsky was like, "You could have a dark mode, or you could have these other 5 things that are going to help you and your business flourish." I was like, "Ooh, sweet burn, Howard Pinsky, sweet burn."
I mean, him and his boops too. So I mean, like, all power to it. I want to add some
Ooh,
of these
yes.
sparkles.
Bringing the sparkles back in.
You know what? I'm gonna make these black because the coins are black. Oops. What?
Doesn't matter what program you're in, like paths are always hard. This is why I'm not a
Yeah.
logo designer, because the pen tool is a friend of mine, not the best friend of mine. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, it sometimes adjusts, um, like when you use it. So I totally know the struggle. Um, so many sparkles.
So many sparkles, but the worst deal tag is still like absolutely making me crack up.
Uh, you know what? This one's not gonna have sparkles because it's the worst deal. So we'll
The
just
worst
leave it
deal.
like that. Okay, cool. Awesome. And then now we have our messaging tool. So we finished the store and resources, and then now our next navigation is messaging. So then, and the indication says that we have 2 messages, and we have 20 available tokens because we'll be nice to them in the beginning. We'll give them 20 tokens, and then they have to buy them if they use them up. So then I'll just add images for, oops.
I think you lost the selection of your circles.
Oh, I did. Oops. There we go.
Keep in mind, everybody, we got about 45 minutes left in the stream, so ask your questions if you want to get them answered.
Wait, Misty was actually. We both love Pokey. Let's be friends. And pen pals. Lady Gaga rocks. But what about Britney?
This is the best conversation ever. I'm in this conversation. I just had this conversation. This just like this stream of like this thread of conversation. I had this the other night with some friends. It's great.
There we go. See, that's what we want. We want friends, but like pen pal friends that you're gonna meet or that you're gonna write to. Cool. So now that we have like most of the structure done, we could start adding like more prettier elements. So like, oh wait, actually, let me finish this social footer. I think oh yeah, I have a footer tab. Okay. We're going with the, essential social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so let's see. Insta.
Samuel's asking if there's any way to generate sitemaps inside of Adobe XD. I don't know of any. Maybe Voodoo Val will have some more info, or maybe Kevin, do you know?
Sitemaps? I
Yeah.
usually just make it with like squares
Oh yeah,
on.
that's a good call.
Yeah, but if there's a plugin that just like has a setup for that, that would be so beneficial. Because
Yeah.
like making squares is super time consuming.
Making squares is time consuming.
And then like text in the squares and just, yeah, I'd rather have like a plugin for it.
I'm gonna look and see right now. I just did a really quick search inside the plugin Discover tab, and I don't see anything for sitemaps. But what you could do if you wanted to save yourself some time in the creation of a sitemap, if it's like a visual sitemap, is you could create components and assets, maybe one component that has multiple states for what you're trying to do, and then you can just drop those like really quickly instead of recreating boxes. That could be a time saver. Ooh, somebody says whiteboard plugin. That could be a thing for sure.
Ooh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, should we start prototyping now? Oh my gosh.
Ooh, let's do some prototyping.
Okay, so on the home page, when someone hits the register button, we'll auto animate to the registration page. And since these are like the same name layers on every page, it just moves a little bit, then it should auto animate accordingly. So if I click on the next button, then it'll go on this page, auto animate, ease out, perfect. I don't know about you, but like auto animate's prototyping is like super therapeutic for me because
Me
it's like
too.
you're just like connecting dots, connecting screens.
It's just there's this like cathartic kind of feeling to just kind of going that goes there, that goes there. It just feels so nice, and then it's
Yeah.
it's so easy and smooth to do. But as you're doing it, you are taking your prototype like 100 levels to the next level in impressiveness for people to look at.
But the thing is, a lot of people don't like it, and I'm like, what? I love it.
Yeah.
Sweet. Going back. Oh, actually, I should have had because I'm like thinking like, how is someone gonna go back to this page? So I'm just gonna copy this, and then oh, there it is. Okay.
What's cool is also as Kevin is like just wiring everything up with in the prototyping tab, the first selection of like action and animation type and easing and trigger type, it's just saved, and so it's reusing the same thing. So he doesn't have to re-implement all of those drop downs and selections on the right hand side every time. He's just picks it once, it cruises through, and that gives like this consistent look and feel even in the animation style and easing, which is great to have consistency there.
Exactly. So let me test it out, and if not, then we can always like see what's wrong. But okay, so someone clicks on register, and then they click on next. Oh, nice.
Things are smooth.
Next. Oh, the cloud, the swivel's moving. Okay, that's good. Profile completed. Um, so I want this check mark to like just pop up in the center.
Mhm.
So I'm going to actually go back. Grab this, copy and paste it in the previous screen, and then I'm gonna lock this and then just make it 1 and 1. Oops, 1 and 1. And then you see it like right here. It's really
Mhm.
small. And then just put that in the center somewhere with opacity 0. So then if I prototype it and click next, it just pops up.
Right. Yep.
Did you see that? Oh my
Yeah.
God, I like that.
It
That's
looked
cool.
so good. It looked really good.
Let me see. So another thing I noticed while prototyping is just the transition from the home page to this is just like a fade or whatever. So I might want to make that more smooth. So let me see. Oops.
What Kevin's doing is kind of the two fundamentals of prototyping, especially if you want to use auto animate, is making sure that when you go from artboard to artboard, you have the same elements on each
Mm.
artboard. That way they can transition from place to place, right? So they can't go from nothing to something. They have to go from somewhere to somewhere. So make sure you have the same elements. They're named the same thing, and they are visible, or not visible, but they are there on each artboard.
I wonder if it like it'll come up. Let me see. Oh, it didn't work. Let me see. What am I doing wrong? Oh, maybe I need to move all this
Yeah, you got to have those same elements on the other one, I think, too.
and put it here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Samuel's bringing up a really good point too. After you prototype any particular artboard, if you duplicate that artboard, it's going to duplicate not only the designs that are on the artboard, but all of the embedded prototypes that have already been wired up. So if you want to just take artboard A or whatever and create another iteration of it, it's already going to be able to zip around to those other spots, just like the original artboard, which is a great feature as well.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, because you're you're duplicating the artboard, right?
And all of the prototyping content inside of it.
Wow. Okay,
And
so
if you're just joining us, we're with interactive designer from Disney, Kevin Lee, and he is getting close to the final stages of designing his Penpal finding web application called Better Letter. And he is moved on from kind of like wireframes into high fidelity designs and adding embellishments. And now he's in the prototyping stage in Adobe XD. He's animating things back and forth and just bringing the whole thing to life.
okay. Let me I'm afraid to group this up because then it'll affect
Yeah, if
this
something's in a
one.
group, one place, it has to be in a group in the other place. Otherwise, it can't go from artboard to artboard and bust out of the group. You'll see some flickering and some strange things.
Right.
You know what you could do? It's just make it easy. It's like, since you're going from an outward facing like marketing page into kind of a registration flow, you could just do, like, instead of auto animate, you could do a simple push left or right or down or something. And then every step after that has the auto animating process in it. Could. Just a thought.
Hello?
Hello? Yep, we can hear you. Keep going, Kevin. You're
Oh,
doing
can you
great.
hear me?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't know what happened. Wait, can you repeat what you said?
Oh, I was just saying, if you wanted to, instead of trying to auto animate from this outward facing marketing page, you could just do a simple like push left transition into the registration flow, and then you wouldn't have to work.
Oh,
Sometimes it's nice to go back to the like the more basic animations as well and not have to do auto animate. You just do transition.
and then, oh, push left.
Yeah. It's just doing a basic dissolve, which could be fine too.
Okay. Let me try this one. I mean, I feel like that's fine. Like
Yeah,
it
it's
just,
totally fine.
yeah. Okay, so we have that flow, and then they could go back. Okay, perfect. Nice. Yeah, just like the movement of like this path, your letters being sent, you're creating your account, everything's going great. And then when you're done, it'll take you to this page. Um, let's see. Let's prototype this as well. Um,
Jubied Iman in the chat is asking about good resources for free illustration. Kevin actually used resources from a free illustration
oh,
site called Undraw, and he actually just used the
mm-hmm.
plugin that you can find right in XD. And yep, and he's showing it right now.
Look at all these illustrations. Oh, I love them so much. That's why I'm like, I want to start practicing on my iPad, so I can hopefully create my own. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. um, but I always envied people who like illustrated their own work and
Yeah,
icons.
super cool. It brings a lot of like personal flavor and just character to something, which is very cool.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so if they click on this, then let me see if I could auto animate this as well and just slide everything.
So just like anything else in Adobe products, there's multiple ways to do something. And Kevin's doing an artboard to artboard kind of state-based animation, which is like it totally makes sense. It's a perfect way to think about it. You can also, if you wanted to, you could use the new component states feature, and you could kind of keep everything in one and just have the different states for how things will transition. It can get a little bit tricky sometimes if you do component states, but it's definitely something to play with.
Did that work?
Yeah.
Okay, let me redo that. Okay, it was like a little like slide action there.
Mm-hmm.
And then from here, if you want to message some, oh, we didn't do the messaging, um, messaging feature where like you're on their profile and like you want to send them a message.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So we'll do like a modal or like pop up. So
Ooh, you get to use overlays. Yeah.
so yeah, when someone clicks on add a friend or message, we should have like a component where it's like a pop up or modal. So we'll do an overlay. Um, okay, awesome. Rounded corners, not too much. Oh, that's like way too much. A drop shadow.
I like your rule on drop shadows. I'm gonna start using that. It's like the number of the blur is the same number as the transparency.
It's like the little it's so subtle, like, but it makes a huge difference.
Samuel Santos says, "Don't forget to put the token charge before they can send the message."
Oh yeah, we'll definitely give them a notice, being like, hey, look, you're gonna use 1 token. Actually, oh my god, we should be so mean. We should be like, each message is 2 tokens. Oh god.
Just that's a bait and switch. Just buy 5 tokens. We'll charge you 2 at a time. We didn't tell you.
Oh my god, you're right. But it's okay. We'll make money from them, so that's good. Send. Was it Christy or Misty?
Misty.
Yeah. Wow, I can't type. Okay.
But
awesome.
XD has autocorrect or like spell check.
Oh, that's true. You're right.
Which has saved my life so many times.
It has that red like squiggle in the bottom, right?
Yeah.
To indicate that it was wrong too. Okay. So no drop shadow. Outline. Okay. And then we'll just make a quick X to close out of this page. Group it.
Everybody keep in mind, we have about 25 more minutes left in the stream. So if you have any questions for Kevin about his workflow or about, like the type of stuff he likes to do or tips and tricks on career and design, feel free to ask away in the chat. I'm sure he would love to answer those questions.
Yeah, ask me any questions about anything. Like, I am an open book. Okay, so we'll say sending this message will cost you 2 tokens. And then we'll have our buttons that we have in our assets. And then we'll say
10
send
points.
Message.
10 points for components being so easy.
Exactly. And then, so we did that. Put it here. And then maybe we'll have another one that says buy tokens.
Oh yeah.
So buy.
I'd like to ask a question, Kevin, because what you just did was like this impromptu, like user experience design. Like as you were designing visually, you were like, this is a problem the user's going to run into. What if they don't have tokens? So how much like is it just like things you've picked up along the way? Would you call yourself a full-blown UX designer, or does every web designer kind of have to be a UX designer too?
I feel like every UX designer, I feel like every UI designer needs to have like UX or like research background, because, and how I do it is like, I think about the easiest experience for me, which is not always right, but, and that's what testing is for, because there's some things where I'm just like, oh my God, I thought this was the most like best product ever because it's so easy for me, but like there's different age groups or like the different perspectives on how people navigate a website that is completely different from mine. So just like different workflows as a designer, like it's just, I feel like it's interesting that it's good to have like research background as a designer, but um, your your perspective is not always right when you design.
Right.
So
Yeah,
it's good to test.
that's good.
And I just created like a secondary button um, as well. So I could add this.
Love that style. Definitely like the filled in button is like the primary action, and then you have this secondary, like a little less in your face button that's there but not overwhelming. It's a really super good practice.
Mm-hmm. Okay, awesome. So once that happens, um, maybe we could have like a confirmation message saying like, "Oh, your message was sent." So no more overlay. Um, I'll just say, oh wait, I want that check mark back from here.
While you're doing that, Sarah wants to know where you learned UI design and what was the first company that you worked for?
So I learned UI design from, I like self-taught myself. So I watched a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of like lynda.com videos as well. And then from there, I um, kind of just like went to a lot of networking events. And I think that's the key as well. Just like learning from other designers is super helpful. I had a lot of mentors as well that, you know, helped me guide through resources and um, just like learning so much from them. And from there, my first job, well, I did a lot of freelance and internships, which is like around San Diego where I went to school. But my first actual job was a digital designer for an ad agency in San Diego, and
Mm-hmm.
I would make like digital ads um, for them, and that's not what I wanted to do. I was like, this is not what I want as like to be as a career. So then I started looking and looking, and after like a year after college, that's when I found my first UX UI job for a medical company called RxMX, and it's like I I'm shocked that I got that job because I was the only UX UI designer, and it was for a worldwide app for medical service. Like the company was based in Australia, but their product was in like China, Germany, Italy, New York, or like America, and like just everywhere. That like it was super overwhelming, but I'm so glad I did it because that forced to like learn so much from that
Yeah.
experience. Um, and being the only designer is hard for, especially for a worldwide application, consumer facing as well as, um, uh, what is it, internal. And it was like, it was the most difficult experience, but I would not replace that for anything. Like it gave me the most knowledge about
Yeah.
UX UI. And from there, that's when I landed a job at um, Walt Disney Studios, and then from there, full time to Walt Disney Company.
Super cool. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
everybody kind of learns differently too. So, for some people, they're going to learn a lot in school. Some people would prefer to be a little bit more like on the self-taught. Some people hate reading books and they love watching YouTube videos. And some people, like to just for everybody or amazing knowing who you
We and networked with people at Adobe and Behance, and I feel like that also, enhances your opportunities as well, just by networking with other designers. Um, I don't know if you know who Heva is, but she was my mentor in San Diego, and she's the one that, introduced me to Adobe Live. So yeah, just going to networking events, talking to people, can land you to interesting career paths. So
for sure.
yeah. Another thing that I did was I added this confirmation, just indicating, I know like for me, it's like if I paid my rent or like if I just bought anything in general, I just want that extra insurance of like, okay, this went through. Um, don't worry about it.
Right.
So yeah, your message was sent to Misty. You spent 2 tokens, and then we can, for like development, we can say like, oh, a rule for this behavior, for this component, it'll disappear within 10 seconds, instead of like having a user
Right.
physically click the X button. So um, to get rid of it, that's why we don't have an X button. And yeah, so I guess I can prototype this where it showcases. How are we doing with time?
Good. We have about 20 minutes left.
Oh, okay, awesome. So if I wanted to prototype this message, this will pop up and then send message.
While you're doing that, I'll just answer. Samuel had kind of a comment. He said, I feel like sometimes the largest hurdle is to making anything is learning the tools. He knows what he wants to do, but how do you get there? And I can totally relate to that, Samuel. So that's why I think that like things like Adobe Live, watching people who are really, really proficient in a tool like Kevin is such a beneficial thing to do. So checking out the daily creative challenges and then trying, right? Like actually following along and learning it by doing is such a powerful thing. And the fact that there's constantly good content on Adobe Live is I'm on a lot of streams and I watch a lot of streams like too. So
Me too. I
I think
watch
there's
streams.
something for everybody.
Yeah, like whenever I work, I just like have Adobe Live or like Behance Live on, because it's just like inspiring to hear people design while you're working, and it's like good background noise as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
so yeah, that's what I do. Okay, so I'm gonna grab. Actually, I'm just gonna group this so I don't have to. Copy this, paste.
See, like Kara Butler just confirmed. She's like, I learned XD by watching Adobe Live. it's,
Oh,
I mean, how could you not? Like, you're literally just watching people explain all these things and all the techniques. And again, also you're gonna find all the little nuances and flavors on how people do things. So Howard Pinsky does things different than me. Like Kevin Lee does things a little different than me. And we're all getting towards a similar like end result, but there's different roads that'll get you there, and it kind of just figures or it depends on what style you like and which workflow works for you.
yes, exactly. Okay, cool. So I guess we can start prototyping to see if this works. Um, so let me see. If I want to message Misty, this prompts up. Nice. Good.
Nice.
Auto animate and then send message. That's so slow. Oh wait. Oh, there's a delay option actually.
Yeah, you
for
should add a
this.
delay to it, like a 2-second delay.
Um. Oh, I get it. Okay, so this should be actually 0.3, and then this should be 5. Okay. That was the
Yeah,
slowest,
timing,
like.
delay, and easing. So much. It's so like, yeah, I get them mixed up all the time, but they're so fun. You can get such different effects. There it is.
And then, oh my god, this 5 okay, there we go. That was a long
There it
5
goes.
seconds. Okay,
Was it
perfect.
5 seconds?
I think so, right? It was just like, I
Yeah,
think
I
I
think so.
5 seconds. Okay, cool. And the like how I did that was I just kind of you know, prototyped it back to this page. But then I applied like this little, I don't know what you call this, like a modal or confirmation modal.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just pasted it here. I put it all the way up and then I lowered the opacity. For this pop-up, I, somewhere here. Yeah, right here. I just shrinked it and lowered the opacity as well as like this overlay. I lowered the opacity for that. So that's how you get the pop-up like that. And then that's how this disappears going up. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, just simple, cool things you can do with auto animate and the prototype tool. I know that competitors, they don't have a really, nice prototype tool, built into their system and their program. So Adobe XD just nails the spot on that. If you want to like showcase your work to your client, um, you can just do it right there.
Yeah. Yeah, this is great. Everything's looking great. And I think what's really cool to see is the consistency in animation styles. So that's like you get into like interactions, micro interactions, and you'll see that similar to having like a good brand style and tone and consistency throughout, you also have to do that with timing, animation, because it has a feeling to it. And so that's why interaction design is so huge. It can be in large companies sometimes a whole separate like person that's just focusing on interactions and keeping things consistent feeling.
Exactly, yeah. Just like animating. Oops, whoa, that was crazy. Oops. Yeah, like there's one person that specifically is like that works in After Effects that just prototypes your wireframes.
Right.
Like that's like a singular job for someone, or it could be, responsibility. You could like there's so many different like job descriptions for
Sure.
Like what a company's looking for.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it really depends on the company. And so, and I think that's a good point. Like some people have been asking some career type questions, and there is, I feel like a job for everybody. So some people like working in big companies where they can focus on one thing. I've worked for startups where I've had to do everything under the sun, depending on the day that you go in, when you, so like there's just different spaces and places that fits well for what you want as far as like a position in your design career. So I think finding the spot that you really like to be at is an important thing.
I know when I worked at that medical company, like they wanted a unicorn,
Right.
except for the coding part, but like the research, the design, the prototyping and After Effects, like, and I was just like, that's how I learned like a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Cause like I just had to YouTube it and just be like, okay, like even though I don't know how to do it, like I'm gonna learn. And that's the best thing is like getting paid to like do your job, but also learn at the same time.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's just
Startups are actually great for that because a lot of times they are looking for somebody to wear multiple hats, and they're also understanding that they hired you as a web designer or a marketing designer, and now they're asking you to do video production or something. You're like, okay, I'll try if you let me. So I think those are great kind of stomping grounds and learning grounds.
Exactly. Okay, so I'm noticing a weird transition from Path 70. Is this named the same thing? Yeah, that's weird. So like if I click on store and resources, it does this weird like sticky thing. Like it's not sliding, but like first this one, it just smoothly transitions, and that's what I want for this.
You might want to look at a lot of times where is it in the layer stack, because if somehow it got drastically rearranged in the layer stack, sometimes that can be a little weird.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna bring it to the front.
But then make sure you bring it to the front on all the other artboards too.
Oh, okay. So let me.
Because Adobe XD is cool like that. You tell it what to do, it's like, I will try. And but it's like literally zipping around and then trying to jump up in layer stack, and it goes, I'm trying, but I can't do it like that. If you're just joining us, we have about 10 minutes left. We are day 2 of 2 in our stream with Kevin Lee, who's an interactive designer at Disney. He's building this. Has been building, is building, and pretty much finished designing this amazing Penpal finding web application that he's called Better Letter. And there's just so many cool things that he's done with it. So you got about 10 minutes if you just joined to ask any and all questions you want of Kevin.
Okay, now let me test it out and see.
Still sticky?
Yeah. I mean, like, I feel like it's working. Maybe there's just a lot of elements going around.
It
Oh,
might
you
be.
know what? It's this sparkle, and then I used it in like these coins.
Oh, it's like
I have to
it was like
rename it.
drastically like moving around.
Oh my god, wait, okay. I need a sparkle one. Just like rename all these.
Which
and
is a
see
good
if that
reminder.
works.
So when you're auto animating, it's got to be the same thing. It's got to be named the same thing. Try to keep it in the same space in the layer stack and make sure it's present on both artboards where you're going to and where you're coming from. So one
It's
of
a
the ones that
little better.
really like messes people up is if you take a shape and then on like it's a shape on artboard 1, but on artboard 2 you've turned it into a path. That's a hard. Now it's a totally separate thing. Shapes and paths are different in XD.
Oh wait, why now this squiggle on the messages page? I'm gonna apply that. Oh, I moved it down, that's why. Okay, let me... Just want that fixed. Oh, nice, it's fixed. Yeah. Okay. Cool. And
Nice
then,
troubleshooting.
right, on the spot. And then I want to add like more, because this is kind of plain to me. So I want to add more illustration. So I'm going to go into my Undraw plugin.
Mhm.
And this is a world, product. So I'm going to type in world. Oh, I like this one. So I'm going to paste that. And since this is vector, I can like get rid of her because we don't need her.
Gotcha.
And then, oh, the line. Grab this. And then send this to the back. And I'll do like 10.
Ooh, just a little bit of transparency on it.
A little like jazz to it. So like, oh, wait, let me move it more.
Kevin, you got about maybe like 2 or 3 more minutes left, and then we should probably do an overview of what you've done this past 2 days.
Okay, sweet. Cool. Just this is like the fun part where you can like delete stuff, add stuff. If I want to add like, I don't know, like more detail to this, maybe I'll do like little grass crowns. or I don't know, what do you call this? Like grass accents.
It's a little squiggly accent, guys. Yeah. So we have Jamie K. Talley in the chat, and she says that she's about to start full-time freelancing and is a little bit scared. Kevin, you got
Ooh.
any advice for her beginning her freelance journey? You did freelance for a while.
To attach to your designs. Don't cry when they don't like it. And then, but also back up your designs with research, saying like, look, this works and it's working on these sites. And also do quarterly taxes.
Ooh, taxes. That's the conversation nobody wants to have when they talk about freelance, but finances and taxes is big.
Exactly. Like, look at these grass accents. Like, it just adds more, like, more character.
Super cool looking. Jamie, I would also say if you're starting your freelance career, is take anything and everything you can get your hands on, but don't stay that way for a really long time. Start to figure out what you'd like to do, and then gear your portfolio and all the outreach to new clients towards the stuff that you like to do, so you can create a almost a not a completely niche, like niching down onto one thing, but tightening up your kind of direction and your focus on things.
Exactly. Wait, I just want to see how these grass looks now.
Misty says, after watching this stream, I've realized the web designer our company hired doesn't have this knowledge.
Oh no!
Oh no, Kevin, you're throwing shade on hired people with your skills.
Oh no, it's okay. They're still learning. I'm still learning, and that's the beauty of this industry is everyone's learning. Even your manager's learning.
That's true. Truth.
Yeah. Cool. So I think I'm done.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, take us back through and tell us we got about 3 or 4 minutes. So tell us everything that you accomplished in these 2 days.
Yeah, so we started with, looking over my sketches, right? Like, what are the pages that we want to accomplish for this product, this Penpal website? Um, and then going through, all the content and sketches. Then we started on like low fidelity wireframes where it's just gray boxes. And we said that like, gray boxes doesn't have to be like a box shaped element, design element. It could be, just an icon, or, just free, like you want more white space than just like a condensed box full of content. So what we did was we grabbed all these cool illustrations from Undra, made, had an amazing brand name, Better Letter from Voodoo, and then, had a CTA to register for an account. Then we added some like an introduction of how this website works. So like search, adding someone, writing them a letter and sending them the letter, and then a testimonial section as well. Adding like cute little accents of, design elements with the squiggles and the dots and the sparkles. Then we, went through the registration page, and did some cool, auto animate transitions. From there, we grabbed a bunch of, things that we didn't know about Jesse, which is, he loves Peanut Butter Falcon, loves Lady Gaga, his favorite food's poke, and then oh, his favorite animal, Lady Gaga. I didn't ask you that, but what is it, Jesse?
My favorite animal, bears.
Yeah.
I love bears.
Oh, wow, that's cool. And then from there, the profile completed page, and then once someone completes their profile, they get to the people search page here. Again, we added some cool elements in the background with low opacity. Added this card system, so it's easy to transfer it to responsive design to mobile, because cards work well on mobile design as well. From there, we also added, socials in the bottom. And then if, Jesse had a 95% match with Misty as a pen pal friend, so you could click their profile and, see who they're friends with, and maybe check out, their friend's profile, see an about me section, and see what common interests that they have, having that same design consistency of the use of pills as, entry for like a common interest item. And then we did like a pop-up modal if they want to message someone, and then from there a, toast message or something on the top that indicates that they sent it, a cool store and resource page, and a messaging feature. Whew, we did a lot in the past 2 days.
Ton of work. And when you say 2 days, you actually mean a couple of hours, because that's all you really had. Right. And so I just think you did a ton of work. You did a great job, Kevin. Everybody out there, give a big whoop whoop to Kevin for crushing it over these past 2 days. And we are coming to the end of the stream. We have about 45 seconds left. And so, Kevin, before we go, tell everybody where they can find you online, and all of your content and all of your design work.
Yeah, you can see, more of my photography on my Instagram at Kevin, KEPHVIN. You can check out my portfolio, kevinhlee.com, or you can also follow me on Behance. I'll be live on Behance as well, doing illustrations and stuff. So, yeah.
Awesome. Hey, thank you everybody for joining us. Kevin, thanks so much for being here and for being so amazing and crushing these designs for the last 2 days. Everybody, we will see you next time. Take it easy. Stick around for more content on Adobe Live.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.